I want to chat about something that I think is extremely important. We've seen a lot of weight with regards to the LGBTQ plus community all over the world. Loads of big changes. Countries decriminalising homosexuality. Countries seeing LGBT rights as human rights. People are now allowed to get married in certain countries, or allowed to go into civil partnerships in certain countries. We're seeing a lot of these amazing things happening around the world with regards to LGBTQ people. Which is fantastic. It warms my heart because we're actually coming to a point where humanity is rising. Humanity is coming one. We are understanding human rights. It's not just about individual people. It's not just about your sex. It's not just about your creed or your background or your colour. It still is, unfortunately, actually. We've got a long way to go. But we've come so far, and that honestly is just the most amazing thing for me, because I'm just like, yes, humans, yes. Let's look at the way that we are doing things, and this wonderful consciousness, this rising of consciousness that is happening around the world is just beautiful. And to all of those people who are still so backwards, it's okay. In due time, you will see the light. Literally, you will see the light. I think the big thing for me is, obviously we're going through a lot at the moment around the world with regards to the trans community. We are hearing about trans homicides happening weekly in Brazil, which is ridiculous. Honestly, it's just like, what the fuck? But, we push on. We know of many countries where it's still illegal to be a homosexual. So, like I say, we do have a long way to go. But I think the biggest thing that's been bothering me is how young is too young. So many people out there guard, protect their children, and I think that's beautiful. You have to do that. They are your children. But on a spiritual level, they're not. If that makes sense. On a spiritual level, children choose you to be their parents. They choose to come into your world to teach you something, or to bring something into your life, or to take something from you, or to learn something from you. That's what we do as souls, if you believe in that stuff. I do, so don't come at me if you don't. I'm just talking from a very, very subjective point of view. But how young is too young? How young is too young to know that you're gay, that you're trans, that you're bi, that you're pan? How young is it too young to explain to your child what the LGBTQ plus community is? I mean, here in London, every Pride, I'm more and more amazed at how many parents bring their children to Pride. Heterosexual parents bring their children to Pride so that they are just immersed, not only in the colours and the parade and the awesomeness, but they just see love and people and connections and differences. And their parents are teaching them that this that you're seeing right now, this is every day. This is the norm. This is your doctor. This is your nurse. This is your teacher. These people are amazing. They love, they care. Shit people are shit people, and it doesn't matter what your sexuality is. If you're a shit person, you're a shit person, the end, full stop. But I love seeing that when I go to Pride here. I really do. And I personally don't believe in he's too young to know, or she's too young to know, or they're too young for us to have this conversation. Kids are smarter than you think, honestly. And the more you shield them, the more the outside world is a massive surprise, because you've shielded them for so long. I knew personally from a very young age, maybe 5 or 6, that I wasn't like other girls. I knew from a very young age that I was different. And I've said this many times in recent conferences and talks and panels that I've been on. Had I possibly known about non-binary or about transgender when I was 5 or 6 years old, then I probably would have identified with either one of those. I probably would have said that I'm non-binary because I don't actually feel like a girl and I'm not really sure if I am a boy. Or I would have been like, you know what, to be fair, this is not the right body for me and I need to change it up. Because for a very long time, all I wanted to be was a boy. For a very long time, I did not accept the fact that I was a girl. For a very long time, and for as long as I can remember, I've always been a tomboy, as we put it in now layman's terms. I played with boys' toys. I hated the girls section of anything, but I was a little model, so I was always dressed in frou-frou dresses, and I hated every single minute of it. But I had boys' toys. I had more boyfriends than I did girlfriends. And even when I had the girlfriends and I had Barbie houses and all of that kind of stuff, like, yeah, I'd play with them, but I always wanted to be Ken. I had no time for Barbie. And the sooner we could be done with the game, the better, because, boring. Let's go play cops and robbers or shoot stuff or rollerblade or skateboard or climb up a tree. Do you know what I mean? I remember never wanting to grow boobs and was devastated when I went to put on my costume the one time and my dad was like, you need to put the top on. And I was like, no, why? And he was like, because you got little numbies, you know, like you're developing. You can't walk around topless anymore, soz, kid. And I was devastated. I always tried to pee standing. I always just was not accepting of my femalehood. But I wasn't exposed to anything and I didn't know about much. So I just continued my life. And when puberty hit and the hips came out and the boobs came out, yes, of course, like any other girl, you're like, oh, why is this happening to me? Why is this happening? I eventually got over the, childbearing hips, which I still have. And all of that, and just started embracing my feminine body. I had big boobs as a kid. As a growing teenager. They were massive. I don't know where they went. I'm quite happy that they disappeared because I don't think I would have coped with big boobs. But, I embraced them and I embraced my femininity and I started wearing makeup and I embraced all of those things even though I held onto the core of the fact that I was a tomboy more than anything else. So I grew into my womanhood and now I couldn't be happier with my womanhood. Although sometimes I wish I didn't have a period. But I'm starting to accept that too. 30 years in and I'm happy with, what my body produces and what I do. But having said that, I knew from a young age that I was different. And I knew from a young age that I liked girls more than I liked boys. But I conformed to the norms of society and what we're told is and isn't. But I knew, man. I was young and I knew. And what I'm saying is kids know. Kids know. So when people say, oh, can you believe Tommy's child is 9 years old and he thinks he's gay? I mean, what does he know when he's 9? He knows. He knows. If a kid at 5 is like, this is not my body, I want to be, I know I'm a girl, he knows. It's not because he's being influenced by the outside world. Us big bad gays aren't doing anything to him. He knows. She knows. They know. So how young is too young? It's not. It's not. We as adults, as parents, I'm not a parent, but as adults and as parents need to open ourselves up to listening to our children and more so open ourselves up to explaining things to our children. Why is it okay that in cis heterosexual lives, the cis heteronormative, it's cute when little Johnny has a girlfriend in kindergarten. It's cute when Mary has a little boyfriend in reception. Why is that okay? Why are we pushing relationships, young heteronormative relationships onto children when they're 3, 4, 5 years old, but we can't explain to them what LGBTQ means. We can't explain to them that two women can love each other and later on in life decide to have a child because of adoption or because of, oh God, what's it called? Inception. Why can't we explain to children that two women can love each other? Two men can love each other. If you're uncomfortable in your body and you don't feel like this body belongs to you, then you fall under the transgender category, you know, that there are people out there who believe that they were born into the wrong body. You can also believe that you are neither female nor male, that you are just non-binary. You are who you are in this body of yours, but you do not conform to being female or male. Why can't we explain this to children from a young age? Why can't we also listen to our kids when they tell these things to us? I'll tell you why. Because we live vicariously through our children. That is why. What? About 85% of the reasons why. We think that we know better. We think that we know more. We believe that if we shield them from so many things, we're protecting them. You're not really. You're actually harming them more than anything else. I think we need to open ourselves up to being a society that speaks openly and honestly with our children. And take away the how young is too young. Because kids at the age of 10 are having sex. Kids at the age of 12 are giving birth. These are cis heteronormative children. And I don't know whether the conversation has been had with them from a young age or not. I don't know what their upbringing is. I can't pinpoint any of that kind of stuff, to be fair. Everyone's background is very different. But when it comes to LGBTQ community and when it comes to LGBTQ children, as parents, you need to open yourself up and be a lot more accepting of what your child is saying to you. And also, you need to explain to your children that LGBTQ people exist. They're out there. Like I said, they're your friends, they're your family, they're your nurses, doctors, teachers. They're the person who's offering you coffee. They're the person who's selling you your toy. Don't shield your children from us, and don't shield your children from who they really are. They are never too young to know exactly who they are inside, in the core of their being. Don't take that away from them. Don't make them what you want them to be. Allow them to be who they are. And that's my public service announcement. Thank you for watching. Peace.